Lynn of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Where are you, dude? Are you on the golf course right now?
No, I'm actually downtown DC, seeing some monuments.
Oh man, you are in the disaster zone right now, dude. Have you? I'm talking about the team. Have you heard about? I'm not going to ask you about the executive stuff with Rizzo, but did you hear about Strasburg? That tomorrow they were going to have this whole retirement ceremony and a whole deal there.
Number retirement.
Did you hear about that?
I heard that was all going down, and then everything got canceled. That's the only thing I've heard. I've not heard why it's gotten canceled or anything like that, but just heard it did.
Would you like to player to player fill them in? Like, how would this go? Okay, like paint me the scenario, right? Like, Lance comes into the clubhouse, you're on the team with him, and he's like, "Yo, why is it all crazy here this weekend? It's the Nats. Like, they're not even in it right now. Like, what happened?" What would you tell him?
You're like, "Lance, dude, they're about to retire this guy's jersey," and then they were like, "Nope, actually, we're not retiring the jersey." How do you feel about that?
Hey, wait, one more. And we want to maybe get some money back on your contract.
Your guaranteed contract.
I'm going to tell you, and we all know that we know this is business, and we're not surprised they're trying to get money back. So I'm not surprised at all about that idea. But man, what the guy did for the organization, I mean, literally threw his arm off in that World Series to help get him a World Series. The money stuff, you're gonna argue over that, but you don't take the retirement and the retired jersey number away. That means something special, especially to what he brought to this city with the championship.
Yeah, a championship with guys like Ryan Zimmerman, with guys like Trey Turner. Do you feel like that kind of puts a stain if you're an ex-Strasburg teammate who was looking to come back for this ceremony, puts a stain on what the you think of the organization as a fellow player?
There were people with flights booked, they made plans to come do this on Saturday. It's tomorrow.
Yeah, no, you're when you see that and you see how it went down, there's a lot of you're trying to figure out what happened. Where's the disconnect? Who's pissed off who here to make this happen, and then I don't know Strauss well enough to know anything that went down, but obviously something's gone down where everybody's upset about something for you to stop a moment like that with people coming into town. So hopefully some more things come out and hopefully they get it resolved so he can have it, but it's obviously a tough situation going on right now with what was supposed to happen.
One more on this. So if it was you, like, let's say the Cardinals were like, "Hey dude, we're going to retire your number and do all this," and then they kind of pull the rug out, and then eventually they fix it and they're like, "Dude, we messed up, all good, like let's do the retirement ceremony next year and the whole deal." Are you the kind of guy that would be like, "F you"? Like, after all that, I'm not calling my family friends again.
I think you know the answer to that one.
I just wanted to confirm.
If I'm that FU guy, yeah, I am. So I think it would be a tough pill to swallow. But I will say this: in baseball, we've all seen time heals a lot of wounds. So you can't sit here and say, "Hey, I'll never come back" and stuff like that. But I will say it would take a while to get over.
Hey, I want to ask you a question here. Be a straight shooter here. How does it feel giving up 40 home runs this year?
Dude, it's unreal. It's unreal. Like, it feels like every ball put in play is a home run. I don't know how to say it. The other day, they either got a bunt or a home run hit. I don't know how to explain it. You make pitches and then you're getting outs, you're getting ground balls, and then all of a sudden you make the same pitch and then 40 homers, and you're just like, damn, the hell? I'm in the point right now where this shit's happened. So you gotta sit here and say, all right, who gives a shit? We got to keep attacking. We got to keep trying to get outs because hell, you already gave up 40. So there's no point to worry about the ones you've already given up. Let's make sure we're making pitches so we try not to give up anymore.
What's a number going into the season? You're going to give up homers. And I always tell people that the best pitchers, Cy Young guys, are going to be up there in the league lead because they're attacking guys. They don't walk guys like you. You don't walk guys, so you're attacking guys. It's going to happen because you're not afraid of a single swing. Most of the time you're coming out top. What's a number for a starting pitcher? Is it one less than starts? What is it?
Yeah, you're to be honest with you, you go in every year, you're like, man, you try to keep it under 20, to be honest. And then if it gets to that to where, hey, you give up one, if you're less than one to start, if you're attacking, striking people out, that's you can't be mad at it. But when you start getting to where you're giving up when you're over one to start. That's when it just kills you, man. But you try not to walk people. You try not to do those things so they don't hurt you. But as of lately, they've hurt me with multi-run home runs. The solo ones won multiple games this year, giving up solo ones. You just got to make sure you don't give up the big one. And lately, I've been giving up the big one.
Hey, I heard recently you had your credit card stolen, man. Tell us about that story.
Yeah, well, you go out you get out in LA. I don't know if they got a system in place or something. I'm sure they do, but yeah, credit card. We got a call saying people are buying up everything from T-Mobile. I think they bought tried to buy a whole store with a credit card. So, yeah. So I was like, I don't even have T-Mobile, so that's definitely not us. So we got it all situated. And then the holiday weekend didn't help anything getting cards out and stuff like that. You know that nobody works with cash anymore. You're like, hey, can I pay for this coffee with cash? Or like, time out. No. I'm like, well, you either take the cash or you don't get any money for this coffee. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, what's that about? I'm with you on that. I always have cash on me.
Yeah, so you have cash. You're like, hey, I want to pay for this $4.99 coffee. Like, hey, and they're like, hey, you got your card? And I was like, dude, I don't have a card on me. And they're like, well, we can't accept cash. And I was like, well, thanks for the coffee.
That's funny you say that. Or I've had one where they're like, hey, we don't have any change. We can give you the bills, but we have no change left.
Yeah, perfect, cool. Here's $5. You can eat the 25 cents then. That's on you.
I know why.
It's because they want that extra dollar.
But also, it's in a similar category of why your credit card got stolen. Bad actors that say, oh, it's cash and my boss isn't here and whoop, it's going in the pocket and you track it all this way.
Yep, true. And I understand that. But man, when you're looking at trying to just buy a cup of coffee and you can't pay cash for it, that's a tough spot.
You still get the envelope? You still get the big league envelope every road trip?
They ain't the big league envelopes we used to get. That's for sure.
That's right. They put it down.
Can you explain for people that are on the outside that didn't play ball?
You might as well just give it back to the.
What's the big league envelope?
Tell
everyone. You give it. It's the meal money. So you get you get your meal money each day, and it helps pay for your clubhouse dues and stuff like that. Now they don't get the meal money, and then now you don't have clubhouse dues. So it's pretty much the same thing. You just don't get the cash to do the tips and stuff yourself. So so now it's just turn around and give it back to the travel guy just to tip him out and say thanks.
So you get no cash. It used to be $100 and I think $100
like $5 a day.
Yeah, it would fluctuate about $105, $106 a day. You go a 10-game road trip,
you're rich.
It's real easy. But those envelopes, I think we talked about this earlier. Those envelopes never came sealed. So that traveling guy's like, he's handing you the envelope, and then he gives you time because he hands you to sign it. You got to sign it. Everybody has a list, and that time, you're allowed to get in there and
give some back.
Get that $100 bill back.
It's a solid move.
Yep.
It's a solid move.
It lines his pockets.
Now you get a 10-day road trip, and I think you get like maybe get $150 for the whole trip. So you're like, here you go, dude, just keep it. You can have it.
That's good.
Thanks. Just keep helping me out at the hotel every once in a while.
Lance, so when you just went through the credit card situation, did you have to ask like a teammate, like, yo, dude, can you pay for something for me until I get my car back? And if not, who would you ask? Like, who's the first dude on your new squad you'd go to and be like, hey, Rich, man, I need some help?
Oh, dude, I got 3 I go straight to. It's Mookie, Freddie, and J-Hay. It's like, hey, fellas, I need some cash. I need some help here. And they wouldn't bat an eye at it, and they're like, give me back whenever you can. So, and they're not hurting for it either. So
no, they'd be like, give it back or don't. I won't remember anyway. I've got so much.
Here's a couple hundred. You'll be fine.
How's Mookie feeling, man? We saw he was on crutches. Have you talked to him today at all or anything, or no?
Last night it was sore. So everything that we heard last night, it's no brokes. All the scans came back. It was just bruised pretty bad. So they were just trying to make sure they kept the pressure off of it, so it wouldn't swell up. So hopefully, keep the swelling down today. All that stuff gets out of there, and give him a day or two just to get the swelling out, and should be in a good spot. So I'm sure we'll know more today when we get to the field.
I got to take you back to some stats. We were talking about the home run stat. I want to talk about the strikeout stat because it's kind of a 2-part piece here. We got screwed on the Immaculate Grid today because you fell 2 strikeouts short of 200 one year. We thought you were a 200 strikeout guy, and it hit our gritty. We didn't do well on the grid. So 2 questions.
Okay.
What the heck? You couldn't pick up 2 more strikeouts that year? And do you play the Immaculate Grid?
I do not play the Immaculate Grid. I've heard some things, and I'm that old guy now, so some of the kids will come up and be like, hey, like when you came in, can you give us a name of somebody we wouldn't know? Stuff like that. Because, you've been on a lot of teams and you know a lot of people. I was like, dude, you can tell me I'm old. That's fine. I'll see if I can help out. And then, I think that year I was at 198 or something like that. I got to 200 innings. I think I was at 201 innings, and they were like, hey, you got over 200 innings, you're good. And I was like, no, let me go back out see if I can get a couple more punchies. And they're like, no, you're done. I don't remember what the ERA was, but they're like, hey, everything's in a good spot. You had a good year. You're done. And I was like, no, I'm trying to get 200. They're like, not too bad. So that's what happened.
Too bad.
When you say they were saying this to you, do you have a name so that we can at least like blame our loss today on a particular human? Like, is it
I'm going to
pitching
tell
coach?
you that it was pitching coach Derek Lewquist. He's like, hey, you've had a good year. Like, don't go out there and try to get two, because I think we had already clinched a playoff spot and all that. And it was like, hey, you're good. Get ready for the playoffs. You did everything you could this year. Let's not chase something and then have something go wrong. And I was like, I respect it, but I also respect 200 punchies.
And September 8th, 2023, Derek Lilquist ruined our Friday.
Yeah.
You never
Playoffs
knew it,
are
but he
better
ruined
than
our
the grid.
Friday.
I get it.
Yeah,
playoffs
it
are a
was.
bigger deal.
I understood the process, but I was like, man, 200 looked good on the back of the card.
Yes,
Hell
it would.
yeah. All right, question for you. Fresh news today. Walker Buehler, who I don't know if you've met or talked to because he was rehabbing, but the team sent out the official release because we were following the progress. Like, he did the rehab innings, a couple of them last weekend, looked good. And they came out and said, I'm coming back from TJ. It's quick. We're going to shut it down and we'll try it again next year. Your thoughts to that? Because obviously that's a big blow to the team because he's been a dude in the playoffs, would have been like you in the playoffs, but also your perspective on how that is for a pitcher to be figuring out, like, battling back from a second TJ coming into a playoff race and talking with the team and making sure he takes care of himself too, because he's not Mookie, Freddie, Hayward rich yet.
Right. And I think there's a lot of things that go into the second Tommy John and stuff like that. He's done a great job to get himself to where he actually threw in a game this year and got some, doing some rehab up downs and stuff like that. So I think that all in all, with you looking at career second Tommy John, everything was really being pushed. And when you come back at the end of the year after not having the year of stress and then go straight into playoffs, that could be in a spot to where it puts his career in jeopardy, and it could put the team in jeopardy if he just not having the year under his belt of pitching and stuff like that. So I think all in all, I think he's in a good spot because he was able to get back. But Walker wants to pitch and he wants to help the team win, and he knows he's capable of that. But it's also make sure you got to protect yourself, and you got you're in a spot that is weird with the second Tommy John. You got to make sure you do everything you can to make sure you can hopefully have a good run there and become that make that money for yourself, but also help the team win more than just this year.
Yeah, good call. And so, how do you feel right now with where the pitching staff is at? Because obviously, we're not going to go over the case. No one's in on that unless you've got something for us. But Julio Urias obviously is on admit leave. He's probably not going to pitch for the rest of this year either. So you're becoming if you weren't already, a very important acquisition for this ball club because they're losing some of their vets right now. Obviously, a guy like Buehler who is not coming back, and then a guy like Urias who, I know he's had his ups and downs on the mound this year too, but like, he was leading the team in innings.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Buehler and Urias not being there in the playoffs, if they were, that would be enormous boost for a team. When it comes down to it, we've got some young guys. Pep threw the ball well last night in Miami, obviously, and then you got you're seeing what Bobby Miller can become right before your eyes as a rookie. Getting confidence, his stuff's electric, and more he pitches, the better he's going to be. And when it comes down to it, we got to be better. Kirsch and I got to be on our game, and if we go into the playoffs with a version of that, with some other of these guys' arms that can throw some bulk innings, just to make sure we don't overuse the one inning guys, I think we got a real good chance. And obviously, our offensive defense play well, and we pitch up to our capability. We can beat anybody. So when you look at it, we just got to, Kirsch and I got to figure out how to, be ready to rock in the playoffs, and then also help these young guys with the emotions that are going to come with it.
See what's behind him right now? Behind Lance?
Yeah, he's doing all the monuments. I want to know what
Oh,
your
yeah.
favorite thing to visit is while you're there, or is the wifey
No, we're
like,
just
we're gonna do this?
so we live in Illinois, so we got to go see Lincoln Monument for sure, right? Old Honest Abe.
That's your
Yep,
boy.
that's fair. That's fair.
That's the best backdrop though we've had
We've had,
probably.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh, for
It's
sure.
just American as fuck. There's really no other way to say it.
America.
you are
That
American as
is-
fuck right now. I love it.
that is, and you're with the family. I would never make you choose which of your kids is the favorite, but some of the kids on your team, which of the kids, the rookies that you were just mentioning, is your favorite, and you think is going to be the best, or is just an absolute dude that you're like, I like this guy. He could be a Lance Lynn in 15 years.
So we got some good ones. I've got to spend the most time with Bobby so far, so that's an easy one for me to pick at the moment, just because he's been here. Some of these other guys have come up and down and done some spot starts, so I haven't really got to know him yet. But Bobby's personality, what he goes through each day, what he does to take care of himself as a young guy, has been pretty impressive. And he's got a desire inside him to be good, and he gets frustrated when he doesn't dominate. So we got to learn to make sure that those wants are still there, but also figure out how to not let them consume you, where it takes you away from what you're trying to do that day either. So I'm gonna go with him just because of the we've gotten to know each other so far, and it's been fun.
Lance, your former ball club, which is not a playoff contender. I know you're happy to be on the Dodgers now. Made some switches. So since we spoke to you, Kenny Williams out, Rick Hahn out. I know you spent some time there. And we got some of your thoughts, right, last time about the White Sox. Since then, though, Chris Getz gets hired to run the show there. What kind of relationship did you have with him? And what do you think, good or bad, about the White Sox moves? It's not just Getz. I think there's been a lot of public scrutiny because no matter who it was going to be, if you don't interview dudes outside of the ball club, it's just not a good look. But that's Jerry's team. So your thoughts on what's gone down since in Chicago? Like, you think they're on a better path?
I mean, when you look at some change, even if it's some internal change, could be good because you get some maybe Getz can get some of his thoughts across and things like that. Now that he's the sole decision maker on the baseball side of things. When you have that, Getz understands it. A lot of the guys that came up through the minor leagues knows him well, so I think that's going to be the big thing moving forward. So hopefully he can push some things across and really get things moving in a direction for the whole group. I know that he's got some good ideas just from when I had some interactions with him while I was there, and now it's his show. So just for having teammates there and friends, I hope it goes well for him and all that. And I will tell this: like Jerry is very Jerry's. The one thing is Jerry doesn't throw anyone on the bus and all that. He's a very loyal person, and he trusts Getz, and he's known him well. So it's your team, your organization. If you feel like him being the guy that picks all the decisions and all that, and you're loyal and you trust him, I respect it. And you just got to see how it works out.
Now you said he played. What do you think the difference is when a GM is somebody that played? Like how's a GM who played going to interact differently with you or with players?
We all know this. When the guy played a little bit, or even the assistant GMs that played a little bit, they come up and talk to you. You know that they understand the grind. They understand the human element of things. They understand that you're not going to feel good. The body hurts and stuff like that. Sometimes you feel like some of these guys that never played have sometimes they don't understand it. And that's it's all right because that's just the way it's built. But the fact that he did it, he struggled. He went through the ups and downs of being a player and knows that there's a lot of failure in this game. Could be good to help a young team.
We'll finish with your dude Kershaw. So the question, and then I'll provide the context. You probably already know this. Like, are velo readings overrated sometimes? Because his velo was down last start. Obviously, he was getting crushed in the clubhouse by the media, being like, "What's wrong? Is it your shoulder? Whatever." And he kept being like, "I'm fine." So, do you think, especially with a veteran like that, like he is fine and leave him alone, and he would kind of let you know if there was something going on? Because he's usually actually been pretty transparent about like where he's at, and we know like he doesn't usually make 30 plus starts anymore. He's been around for a while. But like, it seems like he knows his body, and if he's saying he's fine, he's fine.
Yeah, obviously being his locker mate and getting to talk to him a little bit physically and everything, he's in a good spot. So I think he's a little frustrated that it's not coming out the way he wants right now. But I also know that he's doing everything to make sure when it comes time, it's going to be ready to come out. So he came back. What did he go? He threw some sim games and then came back and got right back into games after the layoff. I think it's going to be truly seeing some build up, and right now is a great time for it to have that little area where you're kind of down because you're going through getting back in the flow of things, multiple starts, multiple innings in a row. So I think down the stretch here we'll be in a good spot, especially moving into the playoffs, kind of building back up.
Can you send us a picture of
What?
you and Abe Lincoln?
Yeah, you got that.
Done.
I'll send it over to Frage here in about 30 minutes.
Please
Perfect.
text him,
Appreciate
and
it.
we'll put it on. I know you're not on social, so can we share it?
Yeah, sounds good. Yep. Oh,
With
Lance
a
and
little
Honest
Gloria next
Abe
to him,
here in
too.
DC.
Lance and Abe, who's got the better beard? All right, perfect. Thanks, Lance.
Thanks,
Have
bro.
fun out there, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.